to 1959. Versatile, agile, multi-talented is how he was described by many people. His football career in high school and college, he played both ways as running back, as a quarterback, and as a safety. In 1959 to 1959, he played football, basketball, golf, and track and field for Hall of Famers Stan Arnzen and Bob Miller, as well as Ed Burton and Howard Barnett. In the semifinals of the 35th District Basketball Tournament, he banked one in from mid-court to beat Newport Central Catholic 67-66, reaching the 9th Region Finals later against William Grant. In football, he threw a tackle-eligible pass to Hall of Famer Dan Points for a 15-yard touchdown and a 13-6 win, the only time he ever ran that play in his career. 4 years at Newport, 11 varsity letters, 3 each in basketball and football and track, and 2 in golf. One of his most humorous stories was the time they were each given 2 pair of shoes by Coach Arnzen. And one of the players brought 2 left foot shoes to the game. And Coach Arnzen made him play the entire game with the 2 left feet. They thought it was hilarious. The only 2 people that didn't was the player with the 2 left shoes and Coach Arnzen. He played in the Recreation Bowl in football as a 5'4", 130-pound freshman, and his basketball team was 24-2 as a freshman. As a sophomore, he started at halfback and scored his first touchdown on Father's Night against Dayton Stivers. And in basketball, he played with Hall of Famers Dick Vories and John Turner. As a junior, became the starting quarterback, and as a high school starter in basketball, Newport was 63-19 and 40-7 in the NKAC. In 1959, he went to Center College, where he played defensive back as a freshman and sophomore, quarterback as a junior, and halfback as a senior. He credits Coach Bob Miller for his career. He received his Bachelor of Arts degree in Business Administration and Spanish. He retired in 2007 as a financial vice president of a marine services company. Ladies and gentlemen, from Newport High School, Mr. Del Hatfield.
Thank you, Mel, for that complimentary introduction. Hall of Fame committee members, Hall of Fame members, fellow inductees, and honored guests. I deeply appreciate the honor that this Northern Kentucky Athletic Directors Association has bestowed upon me. As a young boy growing up in Newport, playing sports meant everything to me. If the game involved a ball, or included running or jumping, or if a score was kept, I was all in. In the mid-1950s, Newport High School was a powerhouse in football and basketball. And while I was in junior high school, I got the opportunity to see a whole lot of very talented Northern Kentucky athletes perform. A few years later, I found myself playing beside some great athletes at Newport High School. John Turner, Richard Vories, Phil Hamilton, Dan Points, all members of this Hall of Fame. I consider myself very fortunate to have had that opportunity. And this evening I'd like to talk about several of my coaches that I had while at Newport High School. And all of these coaches that I will talk about are in this Hall of Fame also. I played 3 varsity football seasons for Coach Bob Miller. Most of the players I knew loved to play for Coach Miller. He was an outstanding teacher of the game who emphasized every aspect of football fundamentals. He taught you should play hard, play fair, and play for your teammates. And I want to relate to you a short story about the first time I believe Coach Miller ever spoke directly to me. When you're a freshman football player, some of your principal duties might be to hold the blocking or tackling dummies, or to run downfield to cover a punt or a kickoff. And I remember the very first time I was selected to cover a kickoff against the varsity. I knew the objective, tackle the ball carrier. So downfield I went. All of a sudden, I saw the sky, the ground, the sky, and then a blurry fuzziness came over me. When I opened my eyes, Coach Miller was standing directly above me, and he said, "You're going to be okay, little man. Everything's okay," and things would be. I also played 3 years of varsity basketball for Coach Stan Arnzen. And Coach Arnzen, he believed that to be the best, you had to play the best. Our Newport teams played teams in Louisville. We played teams in Lexington. We went to the mountain region of the state. We would cross the river and play teams in the greater Cincinnati area. Coach even took us to Middletown, Ohio several times to play against a team called the Middletown Middies. They had a celebrated coach named Paul Walker and a pretty good basketball player by the name of Jerry Lucas.
Oh, wow.
And in the off season, we would always be practicing against ex-varsity players, and they always wanted to show us young guys that we weren't quite as good as we thought we were. And just about every season, Coach Arnzen, at one of the early practices, he would have a custodian bring out onto the basketball court a real tall step ladder. And he would have this ladder placed underneath the basket. And up the ladder he would go, and when he would get to the top, or up the ladder, he would take 2 basketballs and he would hold them side by side and put them into the cylinder of the rim. And believe it or not, 2 basketballs side by side, regulation basketballs, will almost go through that rim at the same time. And his point was, he wanted to show us that making a basket shouldn't be that difficult. Coach Arnzen also believed in strict team rules and insisted on discipline, whether it was on the court or off. One lesson I learned early on as a member of his varsity squad: don't ever, ever, and I mean ever, bounce or dribble a basketball when he was lecturing the team. And finally, I'd like to talk about Coach Steele Harmon. And I know Steele Harmon is not here tonight, but this last week at a alumni luncheon in Danville, I got to speak with Coach Harmon. And he was an assistant football coach at Newport High School during my sophomore and junior year. And after my junior year, Coach Harmon approached me and he asked me, he says, "Where are you going to go to college and play football?" And I told him I had no plans at that time for college, and I doubt after I finished in high school my football days would probably be over. Coach Harmon said he might be able to do something about both of those things. He asked me whether I'd ever heard of Center College in Danville. Well, I told him I had. Coach Harmon said he knew a few people in the administration and athletic departments at Center College, and if I would take the college entrance examination test, maybe he could do some things for me. Well, he did some things for me, and things did work out, due in part to Coach Steele Harmon's initiative and interest in me. I did go to Center College. I did get a degree, but really very, very important was I got to play 4 more years of football. So thank you, Coach Steele Harmon, and thank you to my brother Greg, and to my many friends here tonight, and everyone else for sharing with me this great honor.